but the overall, you have still the added frequency from the previous octave in there. And so making those numbers be 1 to 3 and 5 to 5 to 6 or whatever is more difficult. And the reason it's more difficult compared to tempered tuning is that tempered tuning has an exponential. And so an exponential, looks the same no matter where you cut it in the function. And so within one octave, you can tune well within that octave, and then you don't need to do anything you don't need to change how you tune the next octave. The next octave would be tuned in exactly the same way. And the next octave would be tuned in exactly the same way. With perfect tuning, you would need to tune one octave, and then the next octave you'd have to throw everything out that you had from the previous octave, and you'd have completely different frequencies. They wouldn't be exponential, they'd be almost exponential. And so it's much more difficult. It's not impossible, it's more difficult. So the nice thing about tempered tuning is that you can tune it really fast and really easy.
So tempered tuning is the same as equal temperament?
Yeah,
okay.
Same thing.
Okay, good.
And so that's all it is.
Oh.
It's harder to tune perfect. And
so
because it's an exponential, it's super easy to tune.
Was it because Bach couldn't design something that was that way? Like when he first designed the well-tempered clavier, was it because he couldn't quite make it exponential?
I don't know about that. I was always told that it was just easier. Maybe back in the day it was impossible.
Oh.
But it is
that probably goes back to the Greeks and stuff, right?
Well, the Greeks did it perfect.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, they did it perfect.
With the piano, that's when things got all screwed
The
up.
piano, it's multiple octaves. That's hard.
See?
Multiple octaves is hard.
Okay.
Within one octave, it's very simple. Within one octave, it's very simple.
No, don't look at me.
Do the face.
No, I'm not doing the face.
Yeah, within one octave, it's very simple. It's when you do multiple octaves, because each octave you need to tune independent of the other octave.
Okay.
And then the big problem is that if you're tuning each octave independent of the other octaves, then you not only have to tune within each octave, you then need to tune the octaves against one another so that they stay also well tuned against one another. Whereas with tempered tuning, you get that for free.
Right, because they say that on a piano, C is equal to C is equal to C, and D is equal to D, and everything up the piano, and that must be because of what you're saying.
Yeah, you get that for free with tempered tuning. You don't need to worry about tuning the octaves against one another.
Right.
Okay, because it's guaranteed because it's an exponential function. An exponential function, it doesn't matter, like I said, where you look at an exponential function, it always looks like the same curve. Okay, that's like saying this octave looks the same as this octave. You get that guaranteed out of the math. Whereas with a perfect tuning, you would tune perfectly, it's like relative versus an absolute. You tune relative to one octave really well, but then you might be in an absolute sense shifted from the octave below you. And so then you need to go back and reshift your whole octave until you're tuned with the octave beneath you. And then you need to do the next octave, and then you need to make sure you're in tune with the two octaves beneath that. And then, so
That's crazy.
it's much more difficult.
All right.
Whereas tempered tuning, again, you get it for free.
Okay.
Sorry, gotta go.
You can.
Hello?